Cheese making today. So I've got just under 18 litres of milk. I've heated it up on the stove to around 88, between 88 degrees and 90 degrees. I've filled my sink with hot water because that's where I sit my cheese pot. So I've got my cheese pot sitting in the hot water, and that helps keep it up to the temperature I want. Then over here we've got my homemade Greek yogurt, and I have probably a cup and a half of Greek yogurt in there. This is the clabbered that we made 4 days ago. I like my cheese cultured with the clabbered and the homemade yogurt. We've tried just the yogurt, we've tried just the clabbered, but this is our favourite. Now I just add a little bit of fresh milk. This is all raw milk. I have taken some of the cream off though, so I just mix that. Then I come back over to my milk pot, and this is why I didn't fill past the 18, because I know I have to add the culture. Now I give it a really good stir, and then it cultures for, I like half an hour to 40 minutes to allow it to sit, but I keep it at that 88, 90 degrees and the hot water out of the tap. It's time to put the rennet in my cheese. I use Mad Millie, so for 18 litres of my raw milk I use 4 tablets. I just put them in a little bit of water. It only takes about 10 seconds for them to dissolve, and then I give it a bit of a stir. Then I add it to my milk. Rinse the cup out a little bit. It gets a really good stir now for 30 seconds to a minute. So that's all stirred up now. I've still got hot water in my sink, keeping it up to about that 90 degrees. I'm about a degree over what I would like, but it'll be fine. So now we leave it sit undisturbed for half an hour to an hour. I find it depends on the day and the temperature of the air. While I'm waiting on the cheese, I've been out to the garden and got my shelling peas. So while I'm waiting on the cheese, I'll shell some peas. Back at the cheese, it's set. Still got it up at that temperature. Now all I do is break it up. Give it a good stir because I want all the whey to come to the top and the cheese to go down the bottom. So I've just broke it all up, and you can see it'll settle now, and the whey will come to the top, and I can strain it off. All the whey's come to the top now, so all I do is strain it all off. The whey goes to the pigs, and then we're left with the cheese. After I get all the whey off, well, most of the whey off, I squash it down in here because it's all formed up. I do still have the hot water in the sink, and then I just pour the last of this off. Then once I've got all the whey off, I just squash it and break it up. Then I add 5 or 6 teaspoons of salt, and then I just mix all that salt in and squash it up, ready to go in the moulds. Right, so we've got our salted mixed cheese in the bottom of the pot. Then I've got a tray to catch the whey that drains out when we put weight on it. That's my little cheese mould. I've got 2 of those. We put cheesecloth on top, and then we just get handfuls of our cheese and fill the mould. Okay, I've got my 2 cheese moulds, so 18 litres of milk comes down to about 2 kilos of cheese after it's all pressed and dried. So I just get the cheesecloth as best I can over it, because it gets big heavy weights put on top, so that's how they come up. So yeah, they're both ready. They go in the cold room now with probably about 40 kilos on top of them, and they sit in there for 24 hours. Then we get them out, and these have been sitting in the fridge for about a week. So this is how they come out. and I just trim the rough edges up, and then we vacuum seal them after they're fully dry and put them in the cold room. So yeah, this is how we end up doing them up. We just date on the top, and I like them to sit in here for about 3 months before we eat them.